guys. We're out here at the beehives, getting the smoker going, and yeah, fixing to go through them. Just gonna make a quick run down the front of them, looking at them. They all coming in and out, looking good. A little bit of pollen coming in. This one here doesn't have much activity. There is some coming in. They do got food coming in. Several bees just landed with pollen. Not much activity here, but you can tell the hives that were weaker when we went through them. About a week and a half, 2 weeks ago is whenever I done that first inspection. What we want to look for today, we're going to go into them and make sure they're kind of getting an early start, so we want to make sure they're not going to swarm on us. We're going to look for queen cells and just see how they're doing. We may have to make some splits, but let's get everything set up and get the camera set up here, and we'll start going through a few. All right, guys, so here's the first one. Let's get our smoker closed up. It should be going, no trouble. Oh, I can just see the bees in the sunshine. I can just see the bees flying all over, quite a few of them. All right, so we're gonna see if they're up into this top box comb that we left on here, see if they're doing anything, and there is quite a few bees up here. So they moved up here and started cleaning this comb up, getting it ready. Let's see if they're putting any nectar in this top box yet. The frame's going to be pretty light, but they are up here getting it cleaned out, working on it. A few beetles there. Those beetles are never fun. Actually, quite a few beetles. There's a little, I see one cell with some nectar they brought in right there, so they're starting to use it. Let's look at just a couple more frames here, and then we'll drop down into that bottom box, or next box down, and see, look at the bottom of it, see if we see any queen cells. Same thing here, they're just cleaning that out. And I am seeing a few cells with nectar in them already, so good deal. This side's even got quite a bit more. This whole section right here is full of nectar, so good deal. They're moving up into these boxes already. Same fields full of set this box over here to the side. Got a few bees there on the bottom of that queen excluder. So saw fields full of dead nettle today. A lot of dead nettle coming in. That's that red pollen that we seen in the last video. Just gonna move this queen excluder over. These little plastic queen excluders, they deform and warp. The wire ones, metal ones, are definitely better. What I do to help with that, just put a couple of sticks underneath them, and that'll help hold them up where those bees can move between the top of these frames and that queen excluder. All right, so let's look in this box. We got a full box of bees. Every frame's got bees on it there. We're just gonna crack the top of it from the bottom, tilt it up, and we're gonna look. See if we see any queen cups, swarm cells. They've got it propylized down pretty good. Or we've got a frame stuck together. Yeah, one of our bottom frames stuck together to the top frame. All right, we're just gonna slide this box backwards. Didn't want it to fall off like that. We're gonna slide it backwards just a hair, and we're gonna stand it straight up like this. Lots of bees. This box is Got one that ain't happy there. All right, let's get around here and show you guys what I'm seeing. So far, I'm not seeing any that are developing. All of them are empty. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be on the bottom here like this, but there could be up in them. But I'm not seeing any formed cups. These are drones that we opened up. What we can do while those, there's a good cup right there. It's still dry, nothing in them. I don't have queens to make a split right now. I'm gonna need queen cells to make my split with. But what we can do, I'm just looking at these drones, this brood, and it's a good time to check and just see if you see any mites on them. And that one's clean. I'm not seeing any on these. All of them that I see, I'm not seeing any mites on, but it's a good opportunity to check. All right, so they're moving up into that top box. We don't see any swarm cells yet, so I'm going to leave these bees alone. I do see a lot of drone. I can see a lot of drone up in here, so that's good. That means that they're making those male bees, and those new queens will be hatching and mating before long. So we just want to keep an eye on them. I'm gonna go ahead and just drop this back down, put that top box back on, let them move up, and we're gonna jump over here to this Apamate hive and check it. It was our biggest hive yesterday. Of course, gonna be full of bees, but we're just gonna keep working our way through here and make sure everything's doing all right. Few bees in here. Doesn't seem to be as many as that last hive. There are some bees up here working. Let's take a look at it, see if they started bringing any nectar or anything up. There's just a few bees scattered about. It's nowhere like that last hive was. They've got it polished up. It looks like cleaned out. Don't see any nectar in that one at all. Nor this one. So these bees aren't moving up. No nectar in there. All just fresh, kind of clean comb. So what we're going to do, we got a queen excluder on this one as well. We're going to take that queen excluder off to help them move up through it. Start getting some resources put in here. And it may be that we find a queen cell in this one. They're not really moving out to use the room. They're going to split. So let's pop this off, take a look at it. They've actually come in here and blocked this off, guys. That's new propolis right there. This is the old propolis in these holes. You can see that new propolis. Let's pull this off here. We're going to leave this off for now and see what's happening here. Alright, so again we got full 10 frames of bees in this upper box. Bottom's going to be the same was when we was in here last. Let's split them here and see if we see any cells. If we do, we're going to make us a split. If not, we're just going to put it back together without that queen excluder and see if they won't move up. So far I'm not seeing a lot of drone brood. I ain't not seeing any queens yet. All this drone brood being busted open. We're going to take a minute and just look at it, see if we see any mites. And we're not worried about pulling it out of there, cleaning it up. Those bees will do that. Seeing a lot of kind of a yellowish green pollen. See a bunch of queen cups, but don't see any of them that are got anything on them. Busted that drone brood open when we pulled that box apart. Not seeing any mites on any of them. Right here, this one, that cup there looks a little shiny in it. It does have some jelly down in it, some royal jelly, so I think they're getting that one ready. I'm not seeing any of the rest of them that's prepped yet or got anything going on with them. These swarm cells aren't always on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and look in this top box and just pull a few frames out and take a look at them. Bottom box plumb full of bees. They're doing well. Seeing a lot of that yellow greenish colored pollen. I believe that's going to be maple around here. Saw a lot of fields of dead nettle today, but I'm not really seeing any of that red pollen on any of them. But anyway, guys, hive's doing healthy. Lots of bees. We're going to drop this top box back down. We're going to pull a few frames out, look at it, and see if we can spot a swarm cell. If not, we're going to put that top box back on without that queen excluder and see if they'll start moving up into it, and we'll check them again in about another week or so. All right, so box full of bees, box full of bees. That's good. They're looking healthy. I'm going to pull out a few of these frames and take a better look at them. There's a big old drone right there. This hive might find something down in here, but anyway, we're going to take a look real quick. All right, so this is a foundation frame. A lot of drone brood on this side and this upper corner are drone cells. Not seeing anything in it. It looks pretty empty. Look at this other side. It's just foundation. You can see that foundation's bold this direction, so they're not going to put a lot of wax on it. We're going to move it to the outside edge. We're going to move it to the outside edge of the box and see if may end up having to replace that frame. Let's go ahead and look at this next one here. All right, so you got a lot of pollen, a lot of nectar. Let me turn the camera around in front of the hive so you guys can see. All right, so we got a lot of pollen. We're seeing a lot of nectar coming in the corners here. Some pollen in these cells, and the rest of the cells are empty on that side, just cleaned out, ready for that queen. I'll flip it around and look on this side, and this frame is really pollen bound. So it's just completely plumb full of pollen, debred, left over from the winter. There is some open cells in there, but we got honey and nectar up here in the corners like we're supposed to have, and in the center of that's just plumb full of bee bread. We're just going to drop that back down in there and let them bees work their way through that, hopefully. Look at this next round. Should be getting into some brood up here. All right, here's some brood. Good pattern there. Let me back it up here where I can look at it. All right, guys, so we are they're needing more room. So this brood that's hatched, in the center here, we got this brood patch here, and then this little brood patch around the top. In between them, there's larvae. There is some larvae that's getting ready to be capped over, some older larvae, and then where these bees are hatching, they're backfilling it with nectar already. They're putting nectar in there. These corners are full of nectar. So a good frame. We got nectar in the corners, we got pollen above that, and then that brood pattern there looks good. She's got it laid. Same thing on this side. Got a little bit of nectar in both corners. We got a wide path of bee bread pollen. Then you got all this older brood getting ready to hatch. No queen cups. We're gonna go ahead and keep going through here to look. With a lot of drone brood along the bottom. That's good. So this hive's getting ramped up and ready. Just drop that back down in there. Look at this next frame. Same thing, guys. Nectar, a bunch of pollen, and then all these open cells, as they're hatched, they're coming in, backfilling them with nectar. Don't see any cups on this one, so that's good. All this is older brood she lays. We may find those queen cups are going to be in with some younger brood. If we find them, we're just going to drop that back in there and keep moving our way through here and seeing what we see. So they're needing space. I'm really surprised they didn't move up through that queen excluder, but it's just early. They didn't want to go through that queen excluder to use that comb that we gave them up top. So we can remedy that when we put it back on there. We're going to leave that queen excluder off. We got that comb built up top. Well, they should move right up in there, no problem. Another good frame of brood here. Again, a huge ring of pollen bee bread around the top of it. They're not going to have any trouble feeding them young ones. Honey in the corners. There's some of that red pollen they got put in there from that dead nettle. Same thing on this side, guys. That brood and everything that's hatching, they're backfilling. I think they're so pollen bound that they're backfilling the nectar as those bees hatch out. So we got some older larvae over here, but everything down in here is filled with nectar. A lot of drone brood along the bottom, so we're still a little bit early, I think. I don't think there's a little queen cup right there, but there's nothing in it. It's dry. I'm just going to keep going here as long as we got in our brood. All right, another frame that's almost completely just plumb filled with pollen. Good pattern here. So this is our first frame where we're really not backfilled with honey. There is a little bit of nectar backfilled in them cells, but there's still a lot of open room for the queen to come back in and lay. Again, all these cups down here, all of them are dry. I mean, perfect frame. They just need a little more room. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to. This side, again, like I said, plumb full of too much bee bread, honestly. Something we got to be mindful of. They're pollen bound basically on these frames. I'm gonna look at one more right here. We should have some brood on this one, and then we're gonna put this hive back together without that queen excluder on top. Alright, so that's going to be the last of our brood. This side here, lots of pollen still, a lot of pollen in here, a lot of nectar. They've come in, they're filling it with nectar. This side's got a lot of empty space still. So, alright, so I don't think they're getting ready to swarm. We're going to put them back together without that excluder on top and see if we can get them to moving up, storing that nectar up top instead of in the bottom there. We're going to put the foundation that's messed up on this outside edge. So I don't think those bees aren't gonna, they're not gonna build this comb out much. There is some comb there, but it's really bowed out here in the center and over here. So they're not gonna have much room to build those cells out. This side they're doing okay. They're gonna have it filled in. Of course, in that center where they got the more room where it's bowed out on that other side, they put drone comb on this side. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn this around to where that foundation's on the outside. We're gonna drop this frame back down in there. All right, now let's put that other box back on top. Put this thing back together, no queen excluder, and we'll come back in a few days and they should move up here no problem now. Real quick guys, just something I noticed. So we had 2 foundation frames in this box, no wax, and it's a 9 frame space, got 9 frame spacer in here. We don't want, what'll happen if we're not careful putting foundation in one of these spots with this extra space, they'll build this comb beside it. Instead of building the foundation out, they'll build this comb out wider. We'll get a lot of wonky comb that'll make it harder to work in. So what we're going to do is, I think this was a 10 frame box on top of this one. Let's go back into it real quick and look, and if it's a 10 frame, we're just gonna, it's not, it's gonna be a 9 frame box as well. Let's put it back together. So I'm gonna find a 10 frame one. I know we got one out here. Find a 10 frame down here on one of these other hives. We're gonna put that this foundation in a 10 frame super, and then we'll move that full comb back over here to this box. So let me do that real quick. All right guys, so I went down to the next box that had a super on it as a 10 frame box. Ended up, I already had it stair stepped in there, but I'm going to replace one of them with this comb. It's partially drawn out. I think that'll be all right. We're going to put it in there. They should finish drawing that out completely. Then we're going to step down to the next one, and I want to show you guys this box while I got it open real quick. We've got, so this is the reason we put the queen excluder on there. This one we left it off, and we've got brood up in here, which is not a big deal to me. I'm such a small operation, and most time I'm pulling out frame by frame anyway instead of grabbing whole boxes, so it's really not a big deal for me to. So we had this one stair step. Basically, we got comb, foundation, comb, foundation, comb, foundation. Trying to get them to build it, and they are. I'm seeing some new wax in here, but I want to show you guys the reason we do the queen excluder is we don't want that queen to move up into this top box and lay eggs into our honeycomb. But we can see the new white wax here on the edge, so they're building wax. Pretty new brood right there. So this queen's doing good. Just want to show you that real quick. That's the reason I got the queen excluders in there, just to keep that queen from coming up and laying eggs in these boxes. And that helps us when we store the boxes. We ain't got to worry with moths so much. But you can see some new wax here in the center there. Look at just plumb full of pollen. They're pulling nectar up here already. This box hadn't been up here but a week and a half. I mean, it was all just empty comb. So these bees are working good. I'm going to go ahead and put these back together. We'll jump over here and go through them here in a minute, look for queen cells. They're moving up, no problem whatsoever. So let's see, we got a frame of wonky comb here, and this may have been the one we pulled out the other day. Don't want them doing that. So we're just going to pull this frame. There's nothing in here. They're just starting to do it. We're going to pull this frame completely out, and we're going to replace it with one of a foundation frame from over there. Hopefully get them to draw that out right. And actually, by pulling that one out, that's going to allow us to do foundation, comb, and then we're just going to take this other partially drawn, and we're going to drop it right in there. That's going to be what we needed. So we just got it stair stepped in this box. They should start building new foundation on this comb. We're going to pull these frames together so our bee space is right between them. Hopefully keep from getting that wonky looking comb. And there we go. Go ahead and drop the lid back on this one. Brandy just come out and told me it's supper time. So I'm gonna, starting to get dark, sun's setting, them bees will start getting upset, but I've really kind of figured out what I wanted anyway. I'm gonna real quick go through one more hive, just turn it up, look for queen cells, pop the lids on these other hives down through here, make sure they're moving up into that box and room that we gave them. Make sure I don't have a queen excluder on any of them that are, I can say a queen excluder on that next one there. We want to make sure that they're going through it, or if we need to take it off to give them room. But anyway, let's step back over here. All right, so we do got to find another frame to put back in here full of wax. So let me go ahead and turn you guys off. I'm gonna go ahead and go on down, check them other boxes real quick. We'll inspect them while we're there, and we'll see if we can't find another full comb and a 10 frame box to move over here. If not, I can go up on the porch and grab one. All right, guys, on hold for a minute. So something happened down here in this other hive. Instead down here, I went through top of it. They're acting kind of mean, like they may be queenless. We were in here the other day, and I think we may even seen the hive in this one. But I split them apart. There's no brood, nothing in that top box. A lot of feed, a lot of honey, a lot of empty space, and there's going to be some empty space. These frames I pulled out of here so far had nothing in them either. No eggs, no larvae. There's nothing in here. Just something happened here. They may be getting robbed out. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we found that queen when we were in here the other day. Yeah, there's no resource. There's nothing in here. So we don't have a queen in this hive. There is nectar and honey on top. So what we need to do to try to fix that is find a, yeah, this box is completely empty of resources. So I'm gonna pop it off the bottom, clean that bottom board. We're gonna set it over here. We're gonna rotate these boxes, put that bottom one on bottom. We're gonna find us a couple of frames with eggs out of one of these other hives, and we're gonna drop us some larvae and some eggs into this hive, and see if we can possibly help these bees. There's still quite a few bees in it. We've got a full box of bees. I don't know what happened. I don't know if we rode the queen or killed the queen the other day when we were in it or what, but they're not doing okay. So let's pop this off. Look at this bottom board, see if it tells a story. And you can see all that unwaxed, all that pollen that's in the bottom of that. It tells me that this hive may be getting robbed out. So a lot of beetles in there. Yeah. So we got quite a few beetles in this hive too, but you can see all that pollen and new wax they chewed out. So I think this hive's getting robbed out. I'll have to go back and watch that video when that last video I did and see how this hive was doing. I was thinking they were all doing great, but obviously something's wrong with this one. We're going to leave that cover off that screen board. I think I'm going to shake all these bees down to one box till we can get it under control. I'm going to replace one of those. I'm going to drop a couple frames of eggs out of another hive into this one, and yeah, see if we can't save this hive maybe. So this is our full frame or full box, and it's got some weight to it. There's still quite a bit going on, so it may be too late. They may already be gone, but I'm gonna say they got robbed out. We left them too much space. I'm gonna shake these other boxes into here. I'm gonna find a couple of empty frames in here. Looks like here's a foundation frame. We're gonna pull it out to make room for one with eggs. All right, set it over there. See if we got another. All the rest of them looks like they got comb on them. I'm gonna scoot that out to the outside edge. I'm gonna find one of these frames that are empty without just wax, with just foundation. No resources in them, what I'm saying. See all the bees are coming out of there, they're angry. That tells me they don't have a queen. This box has come apart too, and those frames want to fall down in there. All right, let's pull this one out and look at it. All right, so we'll leave that. That's got some honey nectar up here in this corner and pollen. So that'll be a good frame to put next to the brood. Let's do that. I'm gonna set it right here for a minute. Let's look at this next one. This one's got some weight. Actually, there's some brood. Right there's the queen. So she just had too much space. I don't know what happened. There's the queen, good deal, so they're all right. Here's a queen cup. Maybe they already swarmed on us and we lost half of them. That queen cup's dry, never was built out. But there's our queen right there, so that makes me feel a lot better. I don't know what happened to the population. I'm thinking maybe they swarmed on us. But I'm seeing a few cups, but I'm not seeing anything like a new queen's hatch. We're gonna go ahead and go through here and keep looking though and see. You know, I was telling in that last video about that this is the time of year where those hives lose hives, so I'm glad we went into them. This hive maybe shouldn't have got space. So they got brood, they got a queen, good. I mean, these frames look great. They look good, good pattern. So she's doing all right. We got ahead of ourselves, I think, with her. Just put that one back in there. Look at this next frame. It's going to be a heavy frame. That's going to be plumb full nectar, bee bread. They've got it packed. Honey. We're going to move this to the outside edge. Scoot these two over. This was our pollen frame right here. So we may have just had her blocked off with that honey. And may have just had her brood nest blocked off. She didn't want to move up for some reason. I really need to replace this box. That top box is doing the same thing, or I just use it, but needs to be, you see where these corners are pulled out, and it's allowing that bar to push in there. Or I'm sorry, that frame bar, letting the frames drop down. Let's go ahead and look at this one here. So we just got the 2 frames of brood in this hive, and I think that's what happened. I think we had that honey frame, and she just didn't want to move past it. Let's move. I'll set this one here for a minute. It's got a lot of honey on it. A lot of space in that one. Honey on this side. A bunch of empty cells. So she just wasn't moving over. Let's drop that one back in there for her. Look at this next one here. All right, this is a medium frame. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and clean this medium frame off. We're going to put it over there in that medium box where we're needing another super in there. So I'll do that here in a second. Let's shake them bees back in there. I'm going to go through that top box now too, a little better. I just pulled out some frames. Didn't see any brood. I'm going to make sure there isn't any brood in that top box before I put all this back together. I can drop that brood in that top box down here into this box with her. And we're just going to leave this as a single configuration. Yeah, a lot of room there. We're going to roll that around this way. All right, I'm going to whip around here and go through this top box. Let's set it right up here on these bricks. Make sure I just didn't miss anything when I went through them. Just a lot of empty frames. Nothing there, just an empty box. We got some mold on that side, no big deal. Good healthy hive will clean that up. Got a few bees working over here, but there's nothing. Nothing in these. Got some pollen there, but yeah, no brood up here. Just those 2 frames of brood's all we got. We're going to go ahead and pull these. Got a little bit of resources, empty space over here this direction. We're going to put that empty comb out here on these walls. Put this frame back in here. That's that one I think had her blocked off. I'm going to keep an eye on this hive and make sure that she starts filling them up. If she doesn't, we'll need to replace her. Yeah. Well, nothing in there, guys. A little bit of bee bread. Nothing on that frame. They're not gonna like that, but we'll get the majority of them bees out of there. Alright, we're gonna drop this foundation frame on that outside and let this new, if they do take off, let them build that out on wax. This isn't gonna be a honey production hive this year anyway. So there we go. Gave them room last time we were in here when they didn't necessarily need it. All right, let's take this. I'm gonna take this medium frame here, clean it up, and move it over there to that medium, get it back in its right box. So we're just gonna I'm gonna need to wax some new frames, so I'll melt this down and we'll use it to make some new hives. But we're gonna take this one and go right over and drop it in the top of that hive we were working on, that apamay. And put it right there. Is going to be its new home in this 9-frame box. And there we go, guys. Put that lid back on here. And well, probably videos getting long again. I'm just going to go through the rest of these hives that I hadn't looked at yet, and we'll probably just stack that comb on top of this hive that's empty right here and let them bees rob whatever might be in that top super or whatever. And we'll have this whole stack of just empty comb we can use when we go to making splits, and they'll be out here in the bee yard. Let's look at our jar honey real quick. You guys might be interested in that. Like I said, this hasn't worked real well for me at all. Seeing a few bees in there, but not seeing any new comb being drawn or any of that. But I'm gonna go ahead and we'll show it on camera, but I'm gonna open this hive up, make sure they're doing all right, go through these other 3 hives here. I won't show that on camera, but just gonna keep doing what we've done on these other ones. And yep, bee season's here for sure. So guys, thanks for watching, and We'll see you in the next video.